7 Best Books to Read to Understand and Master Human Behavior and Psychology. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment as you immerse yourself in the timeless wisdom and groundbreaking theories presented in these must-read psychology books. Whether you're a psychology enthusiast, student, or simply curious about the mysteries of the mind, these resources are sure to captivate and inspire you. Researchers have always tried to study as much of human psychology as possible, from what drives our actions. What makes us prone to manipulation? If you too are looking for some books to understand human psychology, here we list some of the best books. Now, let's explore a great book on human behavior. The Law of Human Nature by Robert Greene. Robert Greene, a famous writer, has a new book. He helps people understand why others act the way they do. Sometimes people do things without knowing why. He explains how to see their real thoughts and feelings. We all need other people in our lives. Our jobs, friendships, and success depend on how we understand them. If we don't know why people act a certain way, we can have problems. This book teaches us how to see behind people's masks and understand their true nature. Robert gives examples from history. He talks about leaders like Pericles, Queen Elizabeth I, and Martin Luther King Jr. He shows how they understood people and became great leaders. We can learn from them and use their ideas in our own lives. He also teaches us how to control our emotions. Sometimes we feel angry or sad, and these feelings make us act without thinking. If we learn to control our emotions, we can make better choices. He shows us how to stay calm and think clearly. Another lesson in the book is about empathy. This means feeling what others feel. When we understand people's emotions, we can connect with them better. This helps in work, relationships, and daily life. The book also warns about following the crowd. Sometimes people do what everyone else is doing, even if it's not right. Robert teaches us how to think for ourselves and find our own purpose in life. Whether at work, with friends, or in daily life, this book gives us useful advice. It helps us understand others, make better decisions, and become stronger. If we learn these lessons, we can succeed and improve our lives. Up next, we have another fascinating book to learn from. The Lucifer Effect by Philip Zimbardo. One of the best books to understand human behavior is The Lucifer Effect by Philip Zimbardo. He is a professor. He wanted to know why good people do bad things. In this book, he tells us about an experiment he did in 1971. He made some people act like prisoners and others act like guards. The guards became very mean. The prisoners became very sad. The experiment had to stop after 6 days. You may wonder, why did this happen? He says that when people are in bad situations, they can change. Even good people can do bad things. He also talks about something that happened in 2003. In a real prison, some soldiers treated prisoners very badly. He says this is like his experiment. When people have too much power, they sometimes hurt others. In the book, he also talks about many other studies. He explains how people follow others, even when they know it is wrong. He talks about why people stay silent when bad things happen. He also explains how people can stop bad things from happening. He tells us that we can all be heroes. I like this book because it helps us understand people. If you read it, you will learn why people change in bad situations. You will also learn how to stay strong and not follow bad leaders. He tells us how to be better people. You may ask, is this book easy to read? Some people say it is very detailed. He writes about each day of his experiment. Some say this part is too long, but the book has many important lessons. Many teachers and students read it. They say it helps them understand psychology. If you want to understand why people do bad things, you should read this book. It will help you think about your actions. It will also help you understand others. When you read it, you will see how situations change people. You will learn how to be strong and kind in any situation. This book is a good choice for anyone who wants to learn about human nature. I think you will find it interesting. It will make you think. It will help you understand people better. If you want to learn about psychology, this book is for you. Let's dive into the next book and see what it teaches us. Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. One great book to understand human behavior is Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. He is a psychologist. In this book, he talks about how people think in 2 ways. The first way is System 1. It is fast. It works without thinking too much. You use it when you see a face and know if the person is happy or sad. You use it when you read a simple sentence or drive a car on an empty road. The second way is System 2. It is slow. It needs more effort. You use it when you solve a hard math problem or park a car in a small space. You also use it when you decide what is right or wrong. Kahneman shows that people do not always think logically. Sometimes they make mistakes. They trust their fast thinking too much. They believe things that are not true. They feel confident even when they are wrong. He gives many examples of these mistakes. He talks about why people fear things that are not dangerous. He explains why people spend too much money on bad choices. He also tells how people remember events in a different way from how they really happened. If you read this book, you will learn how to think better. You will understand why you and others make mistakes. This book helps you make good choices in life. It is a great book for learning about the mind. Now let's look at another must-read book on psychology. Games People Play by psychiatrist Eric Berne. One good book to understand people is Games People Play by Eric Berne. He was a psychiatrist who studied how people talk and act with each other. In this book, he says people have 3 roles inside them. These roles are parent, adult, and child. You, I, or anyone can switch between these roles. The adult role is the best because it is calm and smart. But sometimes, people act like a parent or a child, and this can cause problems. In the second part of the book, Berne talks about games people play in life. These are not fun games. They are ways people act to hide their real feelings. Some examples of games are See What You Made Me Do, Why Don't You, Yes But, and Ain't It Awful. People use these games to get attention or control others. The person who stops playing the game and acts like an adult wins. This book became very popular. Many people liked it because it helped them understand relationships. It was easy to read and fun to talk about. But some doctors did not like the book. They said it was too simple and not scientific. If you read this book, you will understand how people act. You will see why people argue and play mind games. This book helps you stop bad habits and talk in a better way. It is a great book for learning about human behavior. Time to explore the next book and discover more insights. Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert B. Cialdini. Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion is a book by Robert Cialdini. It is about why people say yes and how they can be influenced. The book was first published in 1984. The author studied psychology, marketing, and real-life situations to understand how persuasion works. Cialdini explains that people follow some rules when they make decisions. One rule is reciprocity. If someone gives you something, you feel like you must give something back. For example, if a shop gives you a free sample, you may feel like buying the product. Another rule is commitment and consistency. When you say yes to something small, you are more likely to say yes to something bigger later. For example, if you sign a small petition, you may later agree to donate money. People also follow social proof. If they see others doing something, they think it is the right thing to do. For example, if a restaurant is full, more people will want to eat there. Authority is another rule. People listen to experts and powerful figures. If a doctor is in an ad, people trust the medicine more. Liking is also important. We say yes to people we like or who are like us. This is why salespeople try to be friendly. Finally, there is scarcity. When something is rare, people want it more. If a website says, "Only 2 left in stock," people will buy quickly. Cialdini teaches people how to use these rules to persuade others and how to avoid being tricked. This book helps people understand human behavior and psychology. It is easy to read and useful in daily life. After reading it, you will know why people act in certain ways and how to be more persuasive. Moving on, here's another interesting book to read. Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely. Predictably Irrational is a book by Dan Ariely. It is about how people make decisions. Many people think they make smart choices, but the book shows that this is not always true. The author explains how people make the same mistakes again and again. He gives examples from real life and science. Ariely says people compare things all the time. For example, if you want to go on a trip, you may compare 2 places. If one place has free breakfast, you may pick that place. even if another place is better. He also talks about prices. When we see a price for the first time, we remember it. Later, we compare all other prices to it. This is why people sometimes pay too much for things. The book also talks about free things. When something is free, people feel excited and forget to think. They take free things even if they do not need them. Ariely also explains how people act differently with friends and money. If you ask a friend for help, they will say yes. But if you offer them a little money, they may say no. Emotions also change decisions. When people are angry, hungry, or excited, they do things they may regret later. Ariely gives ideas to help people make better choices. He says setting rules for yourself can help. This book is easy to read and full of interesting stories. It helps you understand why you and others act in strange ways. After reading it, you will see the world differently and make smarter choices. Let's check out the next book and see what we can learn. The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli. The Art of Thinking Clearly is a book by Rolf Dobelli. It talks about 99 common mistakes people make when they think. These mistakes can make people choose the wrong things in life. The book is easy to read because each mistake is in a short chapter. Dobelli wrote this book for newspapers in Germany, the Netherlands, and Switzerland. Later, he made the articles into a book. The book became very popular. Many people in different countries read it. It was a bestseller in Germany, the UK, India, South Korea, and more. The book explains why people do not always think clearly. Sometimes people follow others without thinking. If many people like something, you may think it is good, but that is not always true. Sometimes people make bad choices because they only see part of the picture. They do not look at everything before they decide. Dobelli shows that people feel jealous of others. If your friend has a big house, you may feel sad about your small house, but you forget to be happy with what you have. The book helps people understand their own minds. It teaches how to make better decisions and not fall into common thinking traps. This book is great for people who want to think better. It helps you understand why you and others make mistakes. After reading it, you will see the world differently. You will be smarter in your choices and feel happier in life. That's the end of our list. These 7 books help us understand how people think, act, and make choices. They show why we do things even when they don't make sense. They also teach us how to think better, make smart decisions, and avoid mistakes. If you read these books, you will learn many useful lessons. You will understand yourself and others more. You will see why people follow the crowd, make bad choices, or act in strange ways. These books will help you in work, friendships, and daily life. Do you want to know why people do what they do? Do you want to think clearly and make better choices? Then start reading one of these books today. You will learn new ideas and your life will change for the better. Pick a book, start reading, and enjoy the journey of understanding human behavior.